talking to you, I don't know what to say. But I can call up a stranger and talk my whole life away. Milwaukee margaritas, I didn't know that was a thing. Carry me home or marry me now, I promise you everything. Chanel in every city,
What's up, Vibe Tribe? Welcome back to my channel. I am always excited to have you guys here, and I'm even more excited about what today's video is going to be about. First and foremost, make sure you like, you comment, and subscribe. I really would appreciate all of y'all's engagement. But today, we're going to talk about how me turning 40 shook me to my core, okay? We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of the good, the bad, and the indifference. And I'm going to give y'all a little bit more insight into who I am and what's personally been going on in my life. What I'm eating today, you guys. So I stopped at the crab station in Fort Worth. If you guys have not been to the crab station, stop by. I did grab the charbroiled oysters. Okay. They just decided to fall out. But I did get the half order, which is 6 oysters. I also grabbed what they call the bearing, you guys, boil. It has potatoes, sausage, corn, shrimp, and of course a snow crab cluster. And the meal comes with garlic bread and garlic butter. Of course, y'all know I'm not going to eat all this in one setting, but let's snack on it a little bit and let's get into it, okay? I picked this topic because oftentimes people talk about how it is to turn 18 or what life looks like in your 20s and sometimes even your 30s. But once you start getting up in age in those 40s and 50s, I think that people think we have it all figured out. And I'm here to tell you that we don't, okay? I hit my 40s still feeling like I was in my early 30s. I was unprepared. I didn't know what the future held. I was still out here just, I'm not going to say wilding out because I wasn't wilding out, but I was still out here trying to figure it out. So I do know that when I turned 40 last November, a shift occurred in my life. I really just sat down and said, Nikki, you're 40. There's a lot of ish that you don't have to accept anymore. There's a lot of people around you that are not beneficial, that you don't need in your life. There's a lot of things that you're doing, places you're going, just things you're indulging and engaging in that you no longer need. So I think the biggest thing for me was letting go of the people pleasing, learning how to truly say no, and shaking off things that no longer serve this purpose. We're going to put this on because I have a bad habit of wasting stuff on myself. And with all this oil and grease or whatnot, these sauces and stuff, I don't know if that's going to come out of this pink jumpsuit. So we're going to put this on just in case. But the first thing, let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about platonic relationships, and we can also talk about more intimate relationships as well. But for me, I think the biggest thing is I started to evaluate my circle. That was one of the first things that I did when I turned 40. I just felt like I didn't need women or men in my life that was unrelatable, that wasn't preparing themselves to go to the same places that I was preparing myself to go to. And I guess that I just wasn't vibing with. So I know there are probably going to be some people that watch this video that at some point were my friends or associates or whatever you want to call it. But now you'll know why we don't talk as much as we used to, or why I chose to distance myself from our friendship. When you turn 40, those boundaries are something serious too, y'all. Like a lot of things that I was putting up with in my 30s, it just annoys me now. It drives me crazy. And that's not to be mean, it's not to be nasty or anything like that. It's just, I know my tolerance level at this point. I'm going to give y'all an example of why I'm not friends with certain people anymore. So I've decided that I don't want to associate with people that associate with people that I don't associate with, if that makes sense. So if you're friends or associates with somebody that I don't consider myself cool with, or that I could not ever be cool with, I just don't feel like we need to be friends. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to feel uncomfortable pouring my personal information into you, not knowing whether or not you're taking my business back to somebody that I don't vibe with. So a lot of my friendships ended because of that. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a respect factor. If that friend or that person chose to do the same thing, I would have no choice but to respect it. But I just can't get with it, y'all. I just can't get with it. The second thing is like having people in your life that they're not going the same places that you're going. So I'm going to say I knew somebody from my past, y'all, who had an issue with how I parent my kids. And I'm a mama bear, so that's one thing I don't play with. I don't play when it comes to my kids. This same person would not be what I considered a great parent herself, okay? Her kids were pretty much, her oldest kids were raising her younger kids. She was working 24/7. She never took her kids anywhere. Her kids were missing meals. She was always choosing like men and relationships over her baby. And I'm just like, that's just not something that I could vibe with, because I'm not that type of parent, nor will I ever be. So when you're questioning how I'm parenting my kids, when you're making the choice to parent your kids in that manner, I mean, where is the friendship? Where is it? She had to go. When you start to realize that emotional maturity is everything, and that frontal lobe start coming in, and you start setting them boundaries, and you start figuring out what's priority and what's not, the shift occurs. And baby, when I say you feel the shift, I felt the shift. Because after changing my circle, after dropping some friendships, even family, I ain't even got into that yet, but after dropping some relationships, y'all, I went into a season of loneliness, okay? Because y'all gotta understand, I'm a socialite. So my phone is always ringing off the hook. I'm always being invited somewhere. I'm always a part of something or joining something, or I'm just always in the mix. Well, with that being said, that season of loneliness hit me like a ton of bricks, y'all. My phone was dry. I wasn't going anywhere. I was at home most of the time. But although to some that may sound like bad or crazy, for me it was needed. It was needed because it helped me start back focusing on what mattered most, which is me. So I really got into my self-care. And I'm not talking about just going to get my hair and nails done and a facial and a wax and all of that. I'm really talking about spiritually cleansing, reading more, meditating, being with myself, getting rest, like 8 to 10 hours of sleep. It just, life for me changed. And I'm going to tell you this, God works in mysterious ways. When they say that, do not take that lightly, because God allowed this shift to happen. God removed certain people from my life so that I could see myself clearer. When you're a people pleaser and you always helping everybody else, and the answer to everything is always yes, you lose sight of who you are individually. But when everyone left, I was stuck with being alone with Nikki, y'all. And I learned I don't like that. She was never really a friend. That family member didn't mean me no good. This is why my finances are like this. This is why I'm working the job that I'm working. Everything just started to make sense to me when I released and removed things that no longer serve me. You know what else? You start to realize that the things that you think would typically or normally be hard is really not hard. So for me, I'm not going to say, let me see how to be politically correct here. I had a huge disagreement with family, okay? This was a couple of years ago. Now, do I love my family? Absolutely. You can't change that. It is what it is. The love is there. I mean, I grew up with these people. These people raised me. But have I realized that certain people or certain situations are toxic? including myself. There were times in my life that I was very toxic, and other people may feel like releasing me was the best thing for them. And kudos, you know what I'm saying? I want the best for everybody at the end of the day, whether you're a friend, family, or foe. I want the best for everybody because why? I'm a Christian. Okay, I love everybody. It is what it is. But just because you love everybody don't mean you have to continue to pour into everybody. So when I had this disagreement with my family, did it hurt? Yes. Hurt me for a while. Was it hard to recover from? Yes. I went to therapy. I had to heal through it. But I've also learned that just because I feel this way about people, it doesn't necessarily mean that I still have to be a part of that circle. That we still have to be close. We're going to be family forever. But I just look back on history. I look back on things that were previously said to me, previously done for me, and everything happens for a reason. But when you sit with yourself and you're in your healing process and you get the clarity that you need, a lot of stuff started clicking and making sense. I started thinking about, well, dang, why would she say that? Or dang, you know what? That was kind of a backhanded compliment, or that did kind of have an underlying meaning to it. And it makes you realize that people really wasn't for you from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? People was dealing with you. There's the little thumbs down. Sorry, y'all. People was dealing with you maybe because they felt like they had to. So moving forward, I made the conscientious decision to deal with people accordingly and surround myself with positive influences and not negative ones. Y'all, the food is top tier. I've only had one of the oysters and it was really good. But this sauce, y'all, and I got original because I'm not really a big spicy girl. So I got original. And it still has a little kick to it, y'all. It's good. It's really, really good. Let me show y'all one of these oysters up close, though. Look at that. Y'all. But anyway, back to it. So, because I distanced myself and healed and went to therapy and got myself together, I had to decide what was next for me. I started to jump into what I would call my soft girl, boss girl era. Because although I'm soft and I love the luxury on the budget and all of that, I'm still a boss girl. I still have goals. I'm finishing school within the next 11 weeks. I am getting ready to go to law school next fall. So it's just a lot of things going on with me that I couldn't allow negative friendships or negative relationships with family to deter me or take me off my path. And I felt like if I would have kept going at the same rate that I was, I probably wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't. I would still be bitter, upset, mad, toxic in some sense. And I'm just like, I can't be that person. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. And my household comes first. My household comes before any family, any friends, anybody else. So I didn't want to become this negative, nasty, mean person to my husband and my kids. So I said, yeah, I'm going to release the things that are making me feel the way that I feel, and I'm not looking back. And that's what it's been. Those letdowns, them disappointments, everything that I endured over the last couple of years was needed, y'all, for sure. It was needed because it helped me align more with my purpose, figure out more about what my passions and things were, and place me in the right circles, in the right rooms, introduce me to the right people. And it also helped me to learn the importance of unlearning everything that I learned in my 20s and 30s. I know that was a mouthful. But yeah, we talking about 20 years of doing the same thing over and over again, whether it was good or bad. And I had to unlearn all those things because they weren't right. And now that I'm in my 40s, I'm getting right. I'm getting right, y'all. And that's the most important thing. I have truly forgiven myself for things that I've said that may have been hurtful to people, things that I've done that may have been hurtful to people. I've prayed about it. I've given it to God. And at this point, the only thing that I can ask of my family and of my friends who I've had issues with in the past is that I'm forgiving on their end. And I can't make them forgive me. I can only ask for the forgiveness. And just for the strength to move forward at the end of the day. And moving forward doesn't always mean reconnecting. Moving forward doesn't mean we have to start back kicking it with each other and talking to each other on a regular. To me, moving forward is, again, forgiving one another and doing what's best individually for each other. And that's all I can ask for at this point because, yeah, I mean, that's just where I am, y'all, in my 40s. Yeah, I know I'm supposed to be talking, but baby, when I tell you, it's in the sauce. It's in the sauce. I done had a lot of seafood in my life, but this sauce. But I hope that y'all are getting something out of this video. I know I'm not going too in depth, but I just wanted to let y'all know, you know, some things that have changed for me in my 40s. I think right now, with summertime being here, the biggest thing is my confidence. Now, this is not to say I wasn't feeling myself at 289 pounds. But I ain't gonna lie. Today, at 219 pounds, I feel so much better, y'all. I'm not having asthma attacks every day. I'm not winded when I'm walking or going up a flight of stairs. I'm not having to let my seat all the way back to drive. My confidence level is at an all-time high. And it's not a bougie confidence where I'm like, yeah, but I am that girl. But I'm not, yeah, to everybody all the time. But I just feel so much better about myself. So I don't know if that's the 40s. I don't know if that's the weight loss. I don't really know which one that is. But your girl is a lot more confident than she was last year, for sure. So just to kind of recap a little bit, y'all. My 40s have come with me truly realizing what's for me and what's not for me, and eliminating the things that no longer serves its purpose in my life. It's had me reevaluate a lot of my friendships and relationships with people. It's also come with me learning how to say no and no longer people pleasing, putting my boundaries at the forefront, and just having a clearer and sounder mind to like properly align with my purpose and my passions. It's also brought in this extra boost of confidence, not just about how I look, but overall how I feel, how I'm moving forward with my life. It's just giving me a heightened sense of confidence. It's also put me in my era of being unbothered. I don't allow a lot of things to deter me or take me off track, if that makes sense. So because I used to be the go-to person for everything, now I'm not that person. Now I'm not people's first point of contact. And it's okay. You know, like I'm learning that that is okay. It's okay for your phone not to ring. It's okay for people to not show up at your house and knock on your door. It's okay to not run to everybody's rescue all the time. And that's pretty much where I am. It's giving me more time to focus on my studies, to focus on work, to focus on my kids, my family, my household. I've started to get a lot of things accomplished. Like when January 2025 hit after my surgery and I was able to like start back walking around and doing things, y'all, I did a thorough deep clean of my house. I started renovating my home. I just like went on this tangent of just trying to be better and doing all the things that are on my bucket list and crossing those things out, like really executing things. And I know that that would not happen if I didn't align other areas of my life the way that I did. So with all that being said, y'all, I hope that y'all gathered something from this video. I hope that something that I said was useful in some sense. But I do want to encourage all the ladies who are 40 and up to never stop striving for the things you want, whether that be financially, in business, in education, in relationships, whatever. Never stop striving. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do something because of your age, because it's not true. I am living testimony that it can still happen. I am about to go to law school in my 40s, and I'm not letting nobody stop me from doing it. So, yeah, if it's the marriage you want, if it's the baby you want, it can still happen in your 40s. So I hope that this video was some sort of encouragement to you guys. But I'm really curious to know, what is something that each of you would tell your younger self? And it could be at any age. Y'all tell me, drop it in the comments and tell me, what is something you would tell to your younger self? Let's talk about it. But until the next video, again, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm about to finish chowing down on this food. I'm about to catch up on my shows. I'm watching The Shy right now, and I'm watching Divorced Sisters by Tyler Perry. So I'm about to watch both of those, probably take a nap, and yeah, it's a wrap. But until the next video, Vibe Tribe, I love y'all. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Thing that I knew, now I know God took his time.